I judge you, then God won't. Hold on. Have somebody on earth judging you means that you call for heavenly judgment. So when you're wrong or in error, you want the leadership that God has over you to correct you so that God won't have to correct you. So all of you all, and I'm talking about the apostleship tonight, I'll be teaching on the fivefold ministry. I'm going over every aspect of the doctrine. In a good while, I'll be teaching on the doctrine because I want you to be able to understand why we believe what we believe from the scriptures. But if you got a leader that judges you, then God won't judge you. He'll leave that up to him. But if you decide that you don't want my correction or want my judgment or want my discipline, then God steps in. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, all right? And I want you to get that 11th chapter and look at verse 31 and let's read that together. And this is how to stop the judgment of God. You see? Now, if you ever do something wrong and you get to the point because some of you all wonder, well, there's a whole lot of things going in people's mind when I don't bother with certain people. A whole lot of wonder why they get by. Wonder why Pastor won't bother them. Wonder why if I stop judging you, then I'm opening you up to be judged by something else. So if I stop dealing with you or stop judging you and stop correcting you, I've only stepped back so that the greater judgment can come in. So you got folk out here do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say, and you say, as long as they don't disrespect me. You say, Pastor, they ain't bothering them. You don't understand. I ain't bothering you because somebody else going to bother you. I help you if I stop. If I correct you and say something to you and judge you, I'm helping you. If I refuse to do that, I'm hurting you and allowing God to judge you. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. Get that 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. And verse 31. For if we judge ourselves, we what? Should not be judged. So if you're judged by human authority, you won't be judged. So if we judge ourselves, you shall not be judged. So how do I stop the judgment? Get somebody on earth to judge me. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord. That we should not be. So then say, when you are judged, then you're chastened of the Lord. But if you judge yourself, how do you stop judgment, God's judgment? Let somebody judge you. How do you stop God from attacking you? Let somebody judge you. Human judgment. So a lot of times you're trying to get on folk and you're trying to correct them and they're battling and fighting and don't want to listen to what you're saying, don't want to hearken and don't want to hear, don't want to obey, and they're just going and unruly, do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say. That's God's judgment. So leaving you alone is a type of judgment. Not bothering you and letting you do whatever you want to do is a type of God's judgment. See, if I take a child out there to that outside, and I see that child going to that road and I chastise that child, I stop him from going in the road killing himself. But if I take that same child outside and he goes towards the road and I let him do what he want to do, he's gotten the greater judgment. With me, I was just going to give him a whipping with a belt. But now he's going to get flattened out by a semi-truck. So if I judge you and deal with you, you got a human judgment. But if I let you go, hallelujah, you're going on by yourself and then God's got something greater to get a hold of you. So your choice, your answer is, whose judgment do you want? Do you want to be silenced, not to do something, or be corrected or rebuked, or you want to be corrected by God? And you decide which one you'd rather have. The judgment of the human of the judgment of God. So then somebody call you in, an earthly authority, a pastor, leader call you in and say, hey, I want to deal with you. You need to straighten this behavior up. You need to, and you got all of that bad spirit. And you won't hearken to that judgment. Then God said, all right, then let me at him. Kind of like a mother in there. Sometimes I used to see her just kind of there struggling with the children. They be going on. She telling them something. They running out to the mouth. I was sitting there doing nothing. And I said, okay, hey, did you hear what? I got it now. I'll take it. I'll come in. If they just let it alone and deal with her and let her do whatever she was gonna do, that little thing she was gonna do for about 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, and they can get out there and just laugh and say, "Did you see her?